What's up, everyone? Chris Giblin here with the Suited Warrior Podcast. Hope you're having a fabulous day. All right, I am suited up as usual from Tweeds at Custom Suits right here in Sarasota. They are one of our sponsors, so make sure you go check them out. Talk to Don or talk to Rob over at Tweeds and tell them I sent to you. Also, we want to thank Preferred Shores for allowing us to use their beautiful studios. Thank you, Robert Milligan, for always taking good care of us. So we have a special show today. Normally we have business owners that come onto the show, but I wanted to change it up because it's a very special charity that's actually been close to my heart here. I've gotten involved in it in the last, last 3 or 4 months, and it's called Sertoma. And we have some special guests. We have Tim here that's going to talk about what Sertoma is, and also, of course, Olga. She's going to talk about the fashion show that they have coming up for charity. So, Tim, let's kind of talk about what Sertoma is. Tell us kind of maybe the backstory of it,
Sure.
The charity part of it, because it's a big charity. Like, how did it get started and what's it about?
Sure. Thanks for having me on today, Chris. So Sertoma was actually founded over 100 years ago. And if you think about 100 years ago, there wasn't necessarily a lot of chambers of commerce. The Sarasota Chamber of Commerce just celebrated its 100th anniversary, for example.
Wow.
And it was founded by a lot of businessmen that wanted to do something for the community, do whatever they could to help the community. There wasn't a specific mission in place right then, but about the 1950s, Sertoma became synonymous with hearing and speech issues. So Sertoma, by the way, just so everybody knows, is an acronym for Service to Mankind. So they started out just saying, what can we do good in the community? And then in the 50s, they took on the speech and hearing communications issues. The club in Sarasota was actually started in 1956. And then by 1959, we started giving speech and language therapy to local kids. This club founded a club in the 70s up in Bradenton, another one in Venice, and there's about 400 clubs nationally, most still focusing on speech and hearing.
It's kind of crazy to think about, that there's that much involvement with this, but I didn't realize there was that much of a need for it either. Is to have this kind of a group that's nationwide, right? With speech and hearing. So with the benefit of Sertoma, basically, let's just say like you have a parent that has a child that has a speech impediment or a hearing impediment. Did they come to you guys so that way because they don't have the money to go get this, or is it subsidized, or how does this work?
So, good question. We really try to do early intervention. So oftentimes it is pediatricians who are seeing young kids, preschool kids, that say something's not quite right, whether they need their hearing to be tested, or maybe they're not speaking eloquently, or maybe they're on the autism spectrum. So it can be as diverse as not being able to swallow real well, or not being able to pronounce words correctly, or stuttering. It's a wide variety of things that we can help treat. It's, again, speech and language therapy. On the hearing side, certainly everyone at some point probably has some type of deficit in hearing. So our hearing services are much broader and do help anyone who has some hearing challenges.
I have both of those issues. So I know when I was growing up, I've always had trouble saying certain words and stuff like that, stumbled across certain words that I can't say. Like I always call library Barry. So like that was always, I always get, my ex-wife used to always make fun of me. It's just like, it's not a berry. You're not going to a berry, and those types of things. And of course, as I've gotten older, my hearing has gotten, worse. And so now is the age spectrum, like, is it range from like a child to an adult, or is it?
So for our speech language, we have a clinic called Sertoma Kids, and we focus on preschool and early elementary school, although we can see kids up to 18. We generally don't do adult speech therapy, but if someone has a stroke or has some reason that they have to learn to speak again, certainly speech therapy is available for that. We don't do that at Sertoma Kids, but we're trying to help those before they get to school so they can be prepared to communicate better when they get in school. And then if they're in school, as you know, many school services aren't supported fully. There's never enough of those types of alternative programming. So you get as much as you can from the school, but we're there to help supplement or help during the summer in other ways that we can.
Yeah, because I know that's a big thing. I mean, when I was a kid, I actually struggled with a learning disability. I had trouble comprehending, and when I first went into school, and I'm sure, the thing is I'm sure, a lot of these kids who have these speech impediments or they have the hearing, I'm sure, it's hard for them, to understand and go through, you see a child that doesn't have that, and I'm sure maybe in some ways it's probably frustrating for them. I know it was frustrating for me when I was a child, sort of on a different level. So, the thing is, I didn't realize that's such a big of a deal that, that there's this out there. I mean, so if you got somebody, so that, as far as going back to this, so they started doing this. What brought you? How did you get started into this, and why?
Well, I had worked for a company that was more nationally oriented that got bought, and I had to find a new career. It turned out that I became a financial advisor, and I decided I wanted to still give back and be a part of the community. It's something I've always done. My mom was a social worker. My dad was a Baptist minister. Service was modeled for me, and I learned why service is important. So I wanted to do that. And I looked around at a lot of different organizations. I had never heard of, quite honestly, Sertoma, and had a friend that said, you ought to go check them out. And it was a great group of energetic people that did a lot of things to raise money for the cause. And I thought, I'll fit in. I love this. I personally didn't have any speech or hearing issues. I now have a son and a granddaughter that have speech issues. So I'm glad that I was a little bit more informed when they had their issues, and I knew what the resources were that were available to help them as much as possible. But it was just a good group of people with a good cause that did a lot of fun events. And, if you're going to make some money or raise some money, you ought to have a good event, regardless of who it's benefiting, right? If it happens to benefit a good cause, all the better.
Because I just recently heard of Sertoma within the last couple of years because of your involvement. And so, I had never heard of them before. And you're right, there is a lot of different things out there. There's a lot of different charities. There's a lot of different programs out there. So, that was one of the things was what kind of makes that special? I mean, especially because you've been doing this, 20 years with them?
I've been in the club about 20 years, and Olga probably joined not long after me.
You've been that long?
She was involved for a very long time, and then had a child, took a little bit of break being a mom and doing some great things. But she helped us with other fundraisers back then. And about a year ago, we connected and said, would you consider doing a fashion show? And Chris, I got to tell you, I have been in some fashion shows, but walking the runway is very different from organizing the entire fashion show.
I've walked it. It's
I
butterflies and.
It's just one part. Organizing the whole show, it's a completely different level of excitement and worry.
I told Olga I'd be glad to help. I'm not known as the fashionista that Olga is. So,
nobody is. Let's be honest.
That's right. Nobody is. And I thought if we're going to do it, why not do it with the best?
Right. No, she knows her stuff.
We've been talking about this for a while and brainstorming, and she's the engine that's making this go. But I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Thank you.
So I just kind of want to talk a little bit more about the charity part of it, because you guys do. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about what you do about the fashion show that's coming up. But there's a lot of other things that are involved to raise money as well. I think there's a golf tournament. There's all kinds of different things that you guys do. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
We've got a golf tournament coming up in November. The fashion show's in October 10th at the Sarasota Yacht Club. But we've got a golf tournament. I think this is our 33rd or 34th year. It'll be out at Laurel Oak. We have a really large event called My Hometown Fest, a craft beer and food sampling event out at Benderson Park in the third week of March. about 3,000-4,000 people, live bands, the Bucks, the Brave, the Lightning come out there. It's just a lot of fun. But we've done clay shoots and classical pianist recitals and different things. But again, everything we do, we try to have fun, try to make it a fun event. So you will come whether it's for a good cause or not. We just also happen to have a good cause that we're promoting.
So now going back to, obviously it's Sertoma kids, right? So do they get recommended by their pediatrician to reach out to you guys, or is that how that works?
That is how that works, yes. So our executive director, who's been with us for 20 years now, Pam Plank, used to be a speech language pathologist for Sarasota School District. Okay. Actually won Teacher of the Year one time. Wow. So most all of the SLPs, or speech language pathologists in the school district, know her, and they know to refer people over to us because we do work on a sliding scale. If somebody can afford full fare, that's fine. We do take Medicaid, and we do have other scholarship programs available. But again, we'd prefer, Chris, to get them before they get to school so we can help them as much as possible before they enter first grade.
Now, are they going to, so do you guys help subsidize it? Do they have to pay for the whole thing, or like do you give back? How do you figure out that process?
So it depends. There's a scholarship application or a reduction in fee application, if you will.
Okay.
So if they can afford to pay, they will, and they'll gladly pay, primarily because we have some of the best speech language pathologists in town. We have some of the best technology in town. We have a great reputation of doing very good things with our kids. So people want to come there.
Right.
If for any reason they have any type of financial hardship or can't pay the full fare, that's fine. We'll work with them any way we can to get them the help that they need for their kids.
Okay, that's good because obviously everybody has different income levels and different things, and and anything is just like it's kind of I guess it's kind of nice that it's specialized too, right? Just for the children and catching them early before they go to school and try to, understand, and that way they're not, I think almost feel like they're not stepping in behind the other students, right? Because if you catch them before they get into the school, or you catch them before this all starts, then they don't feel like they're as far back, right? Because they're struggling either hearing or speaking or whatever that might be.
Well,
So
unfortunately, one of the things that we see is that if it's not addressed, it will persist.
Yeah.
And if someone can't communicate clearly, they oftentimes pull away from engaging with other people, and then the problem again is never addressed and never improved upon. So we don't want there to be a financial barrier to coming to get this speech and language therapy.
And I can imagine, if you don't start working with them when they're young, as they get older, they become probably more social awkward, I would guess, right? Than with, being around other people, maybe not wanting to talk to other people, not really socializing, which we need, right, to grow. So I can imagine that becomes a burden on them as well. Not just having, the speech or the hearing or whatever, because then they feel like it's harder for them to communicate with people, right? So then they don't feel like they fit in, and and that's the unfortunate part,
right?
So it's good to have something and I never thought about all this. So because you did this before, right, Olga?
Many years ago.
So what made you want to get into this?
The same reasons as Tim's reasons, because I met wonderful people from that group and from that club. And I was also looking for something that I would be passionate about to give back to the community. So I knew quite a few friends from that club, and I was like, why not to help out? And probably as soon as I joined, I was in charge of organizing a classical piano concert, which was great. It was an amazing event, and I was like, why not? I would like to use my talents and my skills to help those in need. And Tim, of course, was very, very helpful. He's amazing, by the way. You are amazing.
Thank you. You are amazing.
You got, just sitting in some of the meetings that we've done, as far as for the fashion show and that kind of thing. especially Tim, you're just, I don't know how you have time to do everything you do. Like, you're just so well
24 hours in a day.
but you're so well organized, and you know exactly everything that's going on, and it's pretty impressive to sit there and watch, because I mean, I'm sure you got other things that you do as well,
Chris,
so.
and we have some committee members that volunteered for the fashion show, so we're pretty lucky to have that group and support. I know what he does for my hometown fest is incredible, and he does a lot of those things and organize and everything on his own. Is it correct? So what you put together, and every year that event is growing. It's bigger and bigger and raising more and more money.
Just like the fashion show is going to be.
Yes, for sure.
So, okay. So you guys do all this, and just is to help, right? The money that you guys raise for this, does that go into helping, like, with getting, like, equipment, or what do they typically use the funds for?
So at different times of our history, it may have gone into different areas, but basically there's three different corporations with Sertoma. There's the club itself, which is the fundraising arm. There is Sertoma Kids, which is the service delivery, where we actually do the work with the speech language pathologists. And then we have our own foundation. The foundation is the sustainability of the mission. So if we have a bad year of fundraising, or another COVID hits and our club goes away, there will still be funding to carry out our mission. So currently, out of all the money we raise, which is $125,000 a year, we put a third into Sertoma Kids, and that goes to help subsidize those people that can't pay full price.
Gotcha.
A third goes to our discretionary projects. So we do different things for hearing folks, like we put in a loop system at the Van Wezel in Florida Studio Theater. So if you have a hearing aid, there's a little button you can press that basically the loop allows you to connect almost like you're directly with the PA system.
Oh, wow.
We provided some portable loops to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, because the whole hospital doesn't need it, but certain patients might need that. So they've got equipment they can take to the patient's room if they need that. We've provided bed shakers through the fire department. If you're deaf, doesn't matter how loud that fire alarm is, if you don't smell the smoke,
right,
you can't get out.
Right.
So when there is a fire alarm, these things basically shake your bed and say, get out. So we've got a lot of different programs that we do through our discretionary program. Then we put a third into the foundation. And the foundation, again, is there to always make sure the mission can continue no matter what we're doing in the fundraising area.
Now, do you guys work with the elderly at all, or no?
We do, sure.
Because, I mean, as we get older, I mean, more and more people are losing their hearing. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen a bunch of my family members, and the thing is like, those are not cheap. Like, special, if you need hearing aids, special ones, I mean, they could 5, 10, 20, 30 grand.
Right.
Depending on what they do. And that's, so that's why I know I've seen a lot of, especially the seniors, and of course, like, their Medicaid doesn't cover it and stuff like that.
Nobody covers it.
Yeah.
It's always going to be out of pocket. And standard hearing aids may be $3,000 to $5,000, but you're right. There are some more sophisticated ones that might cost more money. So Sertoma nationally has something that very easy name to remember, the Hearing Aid Project. So this is a national program where if you have an old hearing aid that you're not using any longer and you'd like to send it in to be refurbished or reissued to somebody else, you can, and they will send you the packing slip to cover the cost to send it in to them. Wow. And then if you need a hearing aid, depending on your income level, you can likely get a free or very reduced fee refurbished hearing aid sent to you.
Wow.
So the Hearing Aid Project is one of the things I think Sertoma National does very, very well. And it's something that back in the day, and maybe when you first joined, we used to have little receptacles at Walgreens or CVS, and we'd ask people to put their old hearing aids in. Well, we'd get hearing aids, we'd get chewing gum, we'd get trash, we'd get whatever. But somebody had to go around every week and pull it out, see if there's anything that's worthwhile, send it in. And now we don't spend any money on the program. It's all the Hearing Aid Project as a program from our national that people can either send in or receive refurbished hearing
That's
aids.
actually an excellent idea.
Depending on their income, free or significantly reduced cost.
Because I know, like, constantly, I mean, I know people personally that, they had one type of hearing aid, but obviously technology is changing over the years, right?
Sure.
So now it's got Bluetooth, it's got all this other stuff in it.
It's on your phone.
I mean,
You
it's
can
saying,
do
yeah,
everything.
you can do whatever you want right there. You can actually turn the volume up, turn it down, however you want to work it. So, as technology is changing, you're getting people who can afford it, getting the better quality
Right.
ones, right? Because of technology. But that's a great idea, especially if they're just going to sit there. Why not give them to somebody who might be able to use them that couldn't afford them?
Right.
That's a fantastic
We
idea.
also offer pro bono hearing tests if you're somebody that qualifies for these free or reduced hearing aids. So every area that's got clubs is supposed to have, anyway, a pro bono audiologist that will give you a free hearing test and tell you exactly what type of hearing aid you need to make sure that we fit you right.
I didn't even, yeah, that's true too. Because I guess it depends on the device and everything else that you need. And
My wife only wears one in her
Okay.
left ear, not in her right ear. And don't ask me how that happened, but I guess I snore on the left side. I'm not sure how that works.
because I never really thought about that. Especially also the hearing test, right? Because you need to know what. I guess there's
Right.
different brands that have different things that they can hear and
Right.
go from there. But that's pretty ingenious, though. I mean, most people, if you could refurbish them and then give them out to somebody else that couldn't use them, that could use them, that doesn't have them or whatever, because I know it's becoming quite a problem. I hear stories because for what I do for a living, a lot of times I get people who will tell me that they can't afford hearing aids because they're on such a fixed income on Social Security or whatever. And so, they have to deal with whatever they've got, but they can barely hear, and so it's like, it's kind of sad.
Well, we have one thing, Chris, that we try to do, and they're just little audible aids, but I think they cost us about $10, but we give them away. All of our events that we're at, we'll give them to you and just say, put it in your ear. Now, it'll last maybe 30 days, but you can adjust the volume, and you can see if an audio enhancer of some type would help you. If it does, you're a good likely candidate for hearing aid. Our club president, Chris Fulton, talks about, I think it was either his dad or his stepdad, used to have the TV up on 50 or 60 or something. He said everybody in the room was like, that's so loud.
Yeah, right.
He put one of these in, he said, turned it down about 75%, and everybody could come in and watch TV with him. So turned out good, and he did end up getting hearing aids. But we do have some of those things. If you're not sure if they would benefit you or not, we have some free.
It's funny you say that. I remember my grandparents, they had, I'd go in there, they'd be watching TV, and it was blaring, and it was so loud.
I remember those times too with my grandparents.
And I was like, but they didn't have a lot of money, so, they couldn't
Right.
really afford it. Of course, back then, even then, the technology, even if you had hearing aids, weren't great,
Well, it's, we see people that get worse hearing and they have to get different hearing aids, or we see people that pass away and had hearing aids, and more often than not, they go in the trash can because nobody else in the family can use them, right? But they have enough components that are good, or possibly somebody else who has the same hearing diagnosis could use that exact hearing aid. So we just ask people to consider donating or refurbishing them so that we can give them to somebody else.
Yeah, I guess getting the word out, though, is the hardest part, right?
It is.
Because I'm sure a lot of people don't know, hey, there's this group out here that actually could use them and refurbish them and give them to people, So it's great to have this, at least hopefully maybe somebody watching on the podcast or listening, they'd be like, all right, I got some of those. I can send them in.
And it's called the Hearing Aid Project.
So,
Couldn't be easier. The Hearing
Easy
Aid
to
Project.
remember.
Okay. So anything else you want to tell us about Sertoma? Anything else that you feel that that the audience should know, or?
Well, I would tell you that we're always looking for people that want to give back to the community. And sometimes you have a cause or you have a mission or something that's specific to you and you want to do that. But I will tell you, in my 20 years of being with Sertoma, most people just want to give back to the community.
Right.
They might not have a specific cause. I think this is as good as any, if not better than most. One of the main things about our club is we do have fun. We do have long-term relationships. I think we put on very quality events. So if you're interested in getting involved with some quality people that do quality events for a good cause, consider joining us. SertomaSarasota.org.
Is it all volunteers? I mean,
So we're dues based. So we do have a membership, and we're part of the national Sertoma group and our local club. But it's $300 a year. It's $25 a month, and that puts you on the roster, if you will.
Okay.
Now, beyond that, if somebody just wants to help out for a specific event, sure, we take help from anybody who wants to help the cause. And we do have some people that just do this fundraiser or that fundraiser, or we have a lot of corporations that help us out that they want to have their employees go do something, and oftentimes even pay them
Yeah,
to
to go
give
do
their
it.
time. So please consider Sertoma if that's your case.
okay. What about like the people that actually work for Sertoma? Like now, are they all volunteers or are they? Get
So
paid?
the speech language pathologists that work for Sertoma Kids are employees.
Are employees.
So
Okay.
again, that's a separate corporation delivery, service delivery.
Right.
We're raising money to help them, but they collect money from some people. They get grants from different organizations. They participate in the Giving Challenge and a few other fundraisers, but we want them to stay focused on the service
Rehabilitation.
delivery.
Yeah.
Right. We don't expect them to also be good fundraisers. We just go out and find beautiful people like Olga to come in and do fashion shows and help us raise money that way.
That makes sense. Okay, good. All right, you want to talk? You ready?
Well, that's a great segue to
I know, right?
the fashion
So-
show.
Move to the beautiful person.
And she's so talkative. All right, so now we have something very special as part of the committee that I got to know you guys from. So I was like, well, after meeting you guys and talking to you guys and understanding what this is about, I was like, why not have you guys come on? Because it is a good charity and it's a good thing. There's a lot of different things that are out there, like you said. So, the more I get to know more about it, I want to be more involved.
Right.
So that's why I'm helping out with the fashion show. So
And
why don't
thank you for
kind-
that. Yes, we need you.
So obviously, Tim came to the best, and when it comes to running fashion shows, because you've done this many of times, I know. You were you ran the fashion show that I did with WCR. Was that 2 years ago, 3 years ago
So
now?
yeah, I was a fashion house at that time, but truly, this is the first year that I was given the privilege to organize the whole show and be
Oh, wow.
in charge of the whole show, which is very, very special to my heart. So everybody knows fashion is my passion.
Fashion is your passion. I like that. Make
it's,
a billboard.
Absolutely. So it seems very organic, very natural to me to give back to the community with my talent and passion for fashion. And I'm very, very fortunate to have people like you who actually support us. Tim, he is amazing with what he does for the club for over 20 years. And of course, I'm so happy to be with Preferred Shore and Robert Milligan, who supports me with projects like that to give back to the community and with everything we have here on the shore, with resources, with talents, with video capabilities. So I have a green light to express my passion and give back to the community.
So, Tim, when you decided to do the fashion show, did you just reach out to Olga and say, hey, we're thinking about putting this fashion show together?
No. It was her idea. She
Okay.
came around, I think, back at our golf tournament last year, and Chris Fulton, who was our golf chair and now our president, said, I think Olga wants to come back. And you know how many likes and impressions she's got on social media,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I do it every day.
Trust
see
me, I
something
know.
that she's out there doing.
For better or worse, I'm there.
I'll tell you, Chris, that
Our
the
fashion
first thing that
Lisa.
came to my mind is, all right, well, we got this beer festival and food festival at Benderson Park outdoors. Can we do an outdoors fashion show? And she thought about it for a minute.
I
We
did.
thought, could we do Western? Could we do this? But then we started saying, well, what if it rains? And, different things. Thought, let's just do it the way you would want to do it, wherever you'd like to do it. And I think we've got
You just gave her an open slate. Oh, jeez.
Oh, absolutely. Here you
did.
go. Stand out of the way. And what can I do to help? We've got a great venue,
Yes.
the Sarasota Yacht Club. Oh my gosh, one of the prettiest destinations here in town. Just beautiful. We've got some great fashion houses, which Olga can tell you a little bit more about them. We've got, I think, 20 plus models, plus some families
Local
coming in. It's
celebrities
going to be
and
so much fun.
Influencers. Yes, absolutely. So like Tim mentioned, he's like, well, this is your project. You do whatever you want to do with this. And this is what really makes me happy and inspired, is to implement my vision, to put my vision into this project. Like I mentioned before, I was a part of many fashion shows before, but this is truly the first time that I get to implement my vision, starting from models, finishing with music, musicians, the venue, the decor, the fashion houses, and of course, working with wonderful people, committee members that help all the way, because obviously I can't do it all by myself and alone. So I got everything I need this time. So I'm really, really excited about our fashion show, which is coming up October 10th. And like Tim mentioned, it is at Sarasota Yacht Club. Beautiful, beautiful venue. And we're going to have everything high end, starting from music, finishing with amazing food and after party.
So let's talk a little bit about the fashion show, because obviously that is a big thing, right? I believe it starts at around 11 that day.
The VIP access is at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Yes,
Okay,
so-
so got to be VIP. Hey, and by the way, I am the VIP manager, so I am running that part.
Love it. Yes, Chris, you're perfect for a VIP manager role.
So there's the VIPs that start at 10, and then general admission starts at 11.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
And so, so going through the process of all this, right? And, obviously you've done the fashion shows in the past, and thinking of your vision of how you wanted this to go with the models and everything else. Talk a little bit about that. How did you start planning for that? What was your thought process going there?
So with fashion as my passion, I also love classical music. So I am a classical pianist. I play guitar. I used to compose music. So that's what one of the first fundraising events that I did for Sertoma was the classical concert.
Did you sing?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
singing.
I kind of combined everything in one concert. I did play the piano, play guitar. I had my own songs that I performed, so it was kind of a variety. So I still remember it.
Sold out show. It was
It was
great.
a sold
Where
out
did you
show.
do that
It was
at?
great.
So we did it at
USF Auditorium.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So this time I'm combining both fashion and classical music. The theme is the sound of style.
Yes, I like it.
And it's going to be about classical music, about opera, about ballet. So a violin player, we're going to have a violin player. So I'm very, very excited about it. We're going to have great singers there. And yeah, that's basically the theme, the metallic colors associated with different classical musical instruments. Very high end. Everybody who knows me, I love to dress up anywhere I go. So this is one of
Always.
those events that be the best dressed, because we're going to have the award for the best dressed female and male at the show as well. And like we mentioned before, we're going to have wonderful celebrity local influencers models.
Awesome.
That I'm very, very excited about. And the fashion house for girls, for female models, is going to be Claudia Keller. She is a very talented young designer who just recently moved to this area. And we're going to have Men's Warehouse providing fashions for our male models. And a little surprise that we're going to have kids on the runway as well.
Surprise.
So now you know. So I'm very
We
excited.
can't tell them all the surprises. There's a lot of surprises.
It will be a
There's
lot
a
of
lot
them.
of surprises.
Yes, but I'm very, very excited about this part because Sertoma is about helping kids as well. So, and we would like to have some kids on the stage and deliver the mission of Sertoma that way as well.
I think it's a great idea that they had the kids involved in part of it. I mean, it is for the kids, right? So let them come walk up and down and have that experience. And you're going to have them actually do couple families too, right?
Yes,
the
yes,
family.
we will. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
you open up too many surprises.
Sorry, my bad.
Can we just say it is a fashion show, but it's part fashion, it's part show.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of entertainment there beyond just what people are wearing that people are, I think, are going to be very pleased with. And just when you first walk in the door and hear the violinist, you're going to know you're at a special event.
Well,
this guy, Matt, is fantastic.
It is.
So where'd you find Matt at?
Well, now, wait a minute. We can't tell you all the secrets, Chris, can we?
More secrets? Okay.
We have
All right.
wonderful.
All right, so that means you need to buy your tickets so you can come and see it.
Yeah, absolutely. We have wonderful, talented local musicians that participate in the show, starting from opera.
And Jonathan Cortez.
Jonathan
will be
Cortez is going to be
one of our MCs.
MCs and DJ and opera singer as well.
And if you've ever heard him sing, oh my goodness, you got to be there just to hear him. Every single act could be a standalone act. The fashion show could be all by itself and be an amazing fashion show. But we've got so many more surprises for you. You're going to want to see the whole thing.
It's definitely an event you want to be at, right? I mean, you know, and I look at it from this standpoint. Yeah, we're all there. We're all doing it for a great cause. But the other thing is it's going to be a bunch of great people there as well. You know, whatever business that you're in, whatever you do for a living, either whether it's just to make friends or whether it's to help network, you know, in this day and age, you know, a lot of stuff that we do is a great networking opportunity, you know, and when you can go in to a, you know, the Sarasota Yacht Club and you go in there and enjoy something that you normally can't enjoy unless you're a member because you can't get in there.
Right.
You know, you're getting to go see something that's very different, unique, and, you know, you're going to have a great time. That's something that's also going to be very unique because, you know, with all the different things that you're putting on, it's not something that you typically, if you plan a night out, right, you might go see a musician, you might go see this, might go see that. I know we got some other stuff that's going on, and I won't say what else is coming up because I do know a little bit, you know, which is going to make it such a fun event. You know, and the thing is, it's well worth it. It's well worth it for, you know, to come, bring your family, bring your friends. I know tickets are on sale already, correct?
Yes.
So where did they get those?
Yeah, I assume we're going to put the link.
Yeah, we can put the link
in the comments.
Yes.
Yeah, here under this podcast. But we're still looking for some local businesses to sponsor. We have just a couple sponsorships left, so that's a great exposure for local businesses to promote what they do and possibly go on the stage, depending on the level of the sponsorship. We also still looking for donations, of course, and like Chris mentioned, it's going to be a great also networking opportunity for everyone who is involved. So I'm very excited. But if you guys can help with, like we just literally have a few days left to secure those sponsorships and donations, that would be amazing.
And by donations, you're talking specifically about silent auction type donations. We certainly take checks, cash, and all types of donations as well.
Right.
But we're looking for a few more silent auction, gift baskets, trips, whatever they might like to give as far as a complimentary service to their business or something like that.
Yes, because every little bit helps, right? So, you know, and that's the thing. And the gift baskets could be great for a silent auction. Also, if you do a gift basket, I mean, it's a great way also if you're a business person, great way for exposure for your business, right? I mean, you know, and it is. It's great. One of the things that I love about these types of events is the networking part of it. I've met so many great people, you know, doing these types of things, you know, and it does get your name out there. It gets you to meet some great people, you know, and that come to these things because, you know, when I find out especially at a charity event like this, and you do something like this, you kind of have the same passion as these people that are coming, right? So you automatically find that you do have things in common, whereas, you know, they want to give back, you want to give back. You know, one of the things that I really started wanting to do stuff like this, you know, and I do other organizations, nonprofit, to help give back too, right? But my biggest thing was, like, I always say that I wanted to give back to a community that gave to me, you know, and I look at it from that standpoint. And, you know, the community that we live in, and it's done so much for me in my career and helped me grow as a person and grow my company. I always want to be like, okay, how can I give back, and how can I look at different ways of giving back? Even if it's something small or something, it doesn't have to be anything extraordinary, but it's just, we're very fortunate, and if you can afford to come, or you afford to give a basket or whatever it might be, that's the thing, is like, do what you can. I mean, and I truly believe that, it will come back to you trifold. You know what I mean? So it's a great way to look at things like this. I mean, you're helping kids out. You're helping these kids get to a point that maybe they might not have had if it's not for this particular group.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, this fashion show is our first, as Olga mentioned. It's a great value, $200. There's not very many fashion shows that you can get into for $200 and see the quality of fashion that you're going to see here. We've got 175 tickets available. They're going to go fast. We've already been selling. So if you want to participate, you need to go out and get your ticket now. And you're right, it's a good group of people to network with because they're paying $200 to get in there.
It's not, I mean, it's not, I don't say it's not cheap, but it's like, but it's not, or expensive. But the thing is you're right. It's $200, right, to get in. And it is, and it's going to give you some opportunities to talk to some people that might be able to help your business or whatever you do for a living. And, and so like, it's a great way to network. It's a great way to get your name out there, and really get to understand it. I mean, I think there's another one. I don't know. Are you still doing this swag bag?
Yes.
Thing too. So another one of the. Why don't you talk about that, because I think it's a big one.
Yes, we're just gonna have some, I guess, swag bags on the table for every guest, and there is an opportunity if you guys want to be involved and not donate, but have your promotional item put into the bag, or it could be a coupon, it could be a coupon code, or a little small item to put into the bag that everybody will have it. So we have that available as well. So I think we just have maybe a couple spots left. And again, all the information is going to be on sertomasarasota.org /fashion show, but we'll put the links down below as well.
I'm excited. I can't wait for it to come.
I am too.
So I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, I know Claudia well, so I can't wait to see what she has in store, and the guys getting dressed up. I know most of them that are going to be on stage, and I did it a couple years ago. I tell you what, my stomach was in knots though.
You did a great job though.
My stomach was in knots getting in front of that many people, but I loved it. I did enjoy it. So.
Well, one of the things that's very nice about the yacht club, it's going to be really an intimate setting. So 175 people, that's going to be about 18 different tables. Everybody's essentially going to have a front row seat because the runway is in the round. There's just going to be tables all around it. You're going to have a great look at these fashions and all the artists and everything else that we've got going on.
Yeah, there's going to be a nice event. So.
And actually, you should talk about your friend who's donating some artwork. I
didn't know if we wanted to bring him up, so that we were talking about the other secret.
Give a taste, yeah.
I'll give you.
Don't tell him everything.
Okay, so I won't tell you everything. So a good friend of mine will also be there. He is a local artist, and he's going to do something very special for us. It's something you don't want to miss. This gentleman is probably one of the top local artists in the area. He's a wonderful guy, good friend of mine. And you're going to want to come see what he's painting.
Very talented.
Very talented. He does stuff all through the U.S. He's done some amazing stuff. Big sponsors are always hiring him, Ferrari, Lamborghini. He does some big stuff, and he's willing to help us out for the cause. And trust me, it's something that you're going to want to see. So stay tuned. I'm excited about having him on.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for that connection for us as well.
So he's going to do well. So what else? Anything else about the fashion show you want to tell us about, or anything else about the?
Like you said, we are so excited about it. It's going to be our first show, and called The Sound of Style. So I'm looking forward to see how it's going to go this year, and maybe next year we'll up the numbers of our guests and do the deliverance.
Definitely.
Yeah, but this year purpose and goal is to do a very nice high-end quality show that everybody will want to come back next year.
I think the experience will be different than other fashion shows in town, and without explaining it away completely, you just have to be there to see it. And if you're not there, you will hear from other people that you should have been there.
Exactly.
So don't be one of those people that should have been there. Be there.
Yeah, because you're going to hear about it. I'd be like, did you hear about that fashion show? And they're going to be like, I heard about it, but then I didn't go.
I saw the ad. I thought I would go. I thought about getting a ticket. No.
Yep.
Get the ticket.
Definitely make sure you're there.
Get a table.
And
Yes.
we already have an after party planned. So it's going to be literally a whole day event with networking, high-end fashion, music, people involved at beautiful places in downtown Sarasota.
All for a good cause.
All for a good cause.
And that's the
what
biggest.
not to like there?
That's the biggest thing that we just gotta keep remembering. Remember, this is just not to go out. I mean, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna see some great fashion, but this is for the kids. This is for the children who, in my opinion, because of the way that I grew up, desperately need. Is something that I think it's tough. I mean, I can't imagine what some of these kids go through, not being able to hear or have trouble with the speaking and that kind of thing. And so because I've been there, I when I was in first and second grade, just didn't come to me very easily.
Right.
And so and the thing is, it's a little bit different than what they're going through, but I do kind of understand it a little bit. And remember, this is for them. This isn't, we're going to have a great time, but it's a great way to give back. And it's a great way for you to give back to a community, and come have a great time with us and hang out with us. And, we're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff that day.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris, for having us today.
Yes, thank you very much.
I appreciate you both. So just to kind of finish this off, so I appreciate Olga and I appreciate Tim coming out and kind of talking about the fashion show and what's going to come up. We'll make sure that in the comments of this, I will have the website where you can go register to get the tickets. I will also have some other things in there as far as what's going on with the fashion show. And we'll. But is there a schedule?
So any questions, you guys can email me at olga@preferredshore.com. Very easy to remember. I will help you with whatever questions you need about sponsorships, about donations, and tickets.
And I'll put her email address also in the notes and everything else about
Facebook
this.
page, you can see who the models are. A lot of information out there.
Yeah, we post everything on social media.
So, and I'll have all that out there. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate your time. As always, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Suited Warrior. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon.